The SEC came out and just accelerated and approved every ETH filing that got in their 19B4. We didn't think it was going to happen, as you see. Like I tweeted that on Friday. Life comes at you fast, but
What explains
from
this?
it's the political wins. It has to be. Like people are trying to say this was always the case. Like that is not what happened here. This is a complete shift. It's not like the
Wow.
SEC knew this was going to happen all the time. I've based on everyone I'm talking to, this is a complete political shift.
In a significant development, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has given the green light to 19B4 filings for spot Ethereum exchange-traded funds applications from major financial institutions, including BlackRock, Fidelity, VanEck, Grayscale, Bitwise, ARK, Franklin Templeton, and Invesco Galaxy. This unexpected move was first reported by Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seyffart, who shared the news on social media platform X, stating, "Boom! Approved. There it is. The SEC just approved spot Ethereum ETFs. What a turn of events. It's really happening." While the approval signifies that the agency is definitely going forward with this, James notes in another post that the applications need to cross one more hurdle before the products start trading. His follow-up posts read, "To be clear, this does not mean they will begin trading tomorrow. This is just 19B04 approval. Also needs to be an approval on the S1 documents, which is going to take time. We're expecting it to take a couple weeks, but it could take longer. We should know more within a week or so. Typically, this process takes months, like up to 5 months in some example. But Eric Balchunas and I think this will be at least somewhat accelerated. Bitcoin ETFs were at least 90 days. We'll know more soon." James's Bloomberg colleague, Eric Balchunas, a senior Bloomberg ETF analyst, commented under James's posts, noting that the SEC could shorten the timeline to weeks. His post reads, "The important part is over, now just logistics. My guess is there's only one round of comments on the S1s, and during Bitcoin one round took 2 weeks, so this mid-June is certainly possible. Just a guess though, we will see." James joined Bankless for a discussion about the 19B4 approvals, the reasons for the SEC's sudden change in tune, and what to expect going forward. As we bring you clips from the interview, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC came out and just accelerated and approved every ETH filing that got in their 19B4. So this is a 19B4 order. And what that really is, it's a rule change proposal. Basically, all these exchanges, they had to do this with the Bitcoin ETFs too. You have to basically submit these filings and ask the SEC to change a rule. In this case, the rule is we want to trade Ethereum ETFs. In the case of Bitcoin, it was we want to trade Bitcoin ETFs. And the SEC has to go through and basically say this is allowed. So this is the first step. There's two main steps before these things can begin trading. And this is number one. Early afternoon, we started hearing rumblings. And we were like, this can't be true. Can it? Like, can this actually be happening? And like we were scrambling. So we know people that are like somewhat in the process. Some people are like outside, but kind of know what's going on. We have a lot of people we talk to in the space. Obviously, there's a lot of signs and tea leaves we read, but we also have sources that we're talking to try to make sure we're getting this stuff right. And we had 1 or 2 people tell us, yeah, something's happening. And then we got more and more people being like, yeah, this is insane. I can't believe this is happening. And that was Monday afternoon. And that's when, so Eric and I actually were on the phone for like 30 minutes going over like fine tooth comb about exactly what we wanted to tweet because we knew it was going to be market moving. We actually offered it to Bloomberg News and they didn't want to put it out there yet, but we trusted our sources. And obviously we didn't think it was going to happen, as you see. Like I tweeted that on Friday. Life comes at you fast, but
What explains
from
this?
it's the political wins. It has to be. Like people are trying to say this was always the case. Like that is not what happened here. This is a complete shift. From what I understand, specifically the division that approves those 19B4s they're called the Division of Trading and Markets. They're mainly worried about fair, efficient, orderly markets. Like that's what their whole thing is. And with these 19B4s, they want to make sure there's no fraud, manipulation, things like that. So these ETFs, these products can't like help other people commit fraud and manipulation or get stuck with other people doing fraud and manipulation. That's what most of this is about. That division, from what we hear, didn't like know about this until late last week. Like they were under the assumption they were denying. So like it's not like
Wow.
the SEC knew this was going to happen all the time. I've based on everyone I'm talking to, this is a complete political shift. And if you just look at everything else that has happened here, like you look at some of the polling for the elections, you
Hmm.
look at the SAB 121 votes in the House and then the Senate, and then you look at what happened today with the FIT 21 Act, which is a market structure bill for crypto. Trump saying he's pro crypto here, and yeah, like there's so many things that point to like the Dems basically decided like we can't go this way. So I'll be interested to see. At some point, we'll get. There was probably a vote on this. Essentially, the commission is a five-member commission, two Dems, two Republicans, and then usually whoever the president is at the time gets to pick the commissioner, which is usually a tiebreak. So the commissioner gets to decide where things go. But it's not impossible to have people break. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes down. So Lizarraga and Crenshaw are the two Dems other than Gensler, and if one of them, which there's no way it was Crenshaw, but she wrote a dissent letter, she might have she
Mm,
voted no on that, and then she wrote a dissent letter. Lizarraga did not join her in that dissent letter for approving spot Bitcoin ETFs. So it's theoretically plausible that Gensler was planning to deny and the other Dem commissioner wanted to do it, but this is all just speculation. So it'll be interesting to see, right? And I don't think it's just about the presidential election. I think there's Senate and House elections that people realize they actually care about this. I don't remember exactly who tweeted it, but it's like, I don't know if the numbers are right, but there's thousands of people who are very staunchly pro crypto at the very least. Like, so, and it's an orders of magnitude greater than the people that are staunchly anti. Like they're very vocal, but there's just not many people that care about it in a great way. And I think that kind of got through in the last month or so. And they couldn't let the Republicans do an end around on them on this piece, right? Do I think the Dems are going to come around and just be completely pro crypto now? Absolutely not. Are they going to be
yes.
as staunchly against? I don't think so. I think this is a tide shift, a complete pivot, a 180
Those
from the Dems here.
On May 16th, 2024, the US Senate voted 60 to 38 to repeal the SEC's Staff Accounting Bulletin 121. This regulation was initially designed to enforce stringent accounting and disclosure requirements on companies holding digital assets for their customers. The repeal underscores the ongoing debate over the appropriate level of regulation for the crypto industry. The Senate's decision to overturn the regulation reflects a recognition of the potential negative impacts of regulatory overreach and a bipartisan effort to create a more balanced regulatory environment. This move is significant for the crypto industry, as it seeks a regulatory framework that protects investors without stifling innovation. During an interview with Unchained's Laura Shin, Bitwise CIO Matt Hoogan pointed out that we are witnessing a complete change in Washington's attitude towards crypto. Matt speculated that the reason for the sudden change is because traditional Wall Street wants in on the money crypto is making. For years, these Wall Street players, who are large donors to US lawmakers, fought to suppress the cryptocurrency industry. Then, BlackRock launched its IBIT Bitcoin fund and shattered all records. Though crypto is still considered a nascent, unserious industry in some quarters, the interest of big players like Fidelity and BlackRock is certainly causing a major shift in attitude towards it. And when big political donors lobby for something, they always get it. Let's get back to James's interview as he speaks further about timelines and figures.
What's the time lag from here until these products actually get released in the market?
One, you're 100% correct, and two, the real short answer is we have no idea. That's a lie. We have some idea, but we really
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
There's not a ton of precedent here, obviously. But even if you asked me Monday morning, like, is there any way they can approve? I would have said no way. They don't have enough time to do it. There's just not enough time to do it. It usually takes weeks, if not months, to get an approval order. But I guess they can work fast when they have to, right? When they're up against a deadline. So the other process is they need the S1 approvals or the prospectus documents, offering documents, depending on what you're used to hearing. But they're just the documents that have all the risk disclosures, exactly how the trust is going to operate, anyone involved with the fund. That's what's going to be in these documents. And the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance, which is another division, not trading markets, this is a separate division that has to go through those with a fine tooth comb. And these documents are hundreds of pages in many cases. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. I think if they really want to accelerate it, the gap between the 19B4 approval and the S1 approval could be weeks. But there are plenty of examples of this taking months. Like there's examples of it taking 5 months. I think they'll be faster than that. The Bitcoin ETFs, for example, we know they started in early October, and then they were approved in early January, which is 3 months, 90 some odd days. I think it'll be faster than that, like I said. I just don't know. We'll have a better idea in the coming week or two, but we just don't know yet. I think the flows that are going to come into these Ethereum ETFs are probably going to be something like 20% of the flows that went into Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain those numbers. So my colleague Eric Balchunas thinks like 10 to 15. I think more like 20. Who actually
Percent you're
knows? But
talking about, yes?
percent of the flows, yeah. So
Okay.
if say it was 10 billion, so we're talking about $1 billion to $2 billion maybe of flows that would come in over the first couple months. And some people were like jumping down our throats, like that's crazy. It's going to be way higher. But I think people are just those Bitcoin ETFs, those flows they broke every single record in the book, right? Like first, almost the fastest to $1 billion. They were the fastest to 10 billion. IBIT did it in 49 days. The previous record, 49 trading days. Previous record was like 650 trading days. That's like 3 years. So like they did it. It's just not even comparable, right? So like those numbers, even if you do 10%, that's a very successful launch. But the reason I think 10% is if you look at ETH versus the market cap of Bitcoin, it's what, 30% right now. I think the number is going to be less than that ratio for a few reasons. One, you lose less with a Bitcoin ETF or Bitcoin going into an ETF wrapper than you do with ETH going into an ETF wrapper. The first and obvious one is none of these allow staking. So like you're giving up that staking yield by not staking your ETH if you're holding it as an investment. The other thing is there's a lot more utility with ETH. Like you guys, you're going to use things to do different DeFi protocols, NFTs, you name it. Like it's just there's way more utilitarian value of an Ethereum token, right? In my view. So like that's just going to decrease the interest in ETH as an ETF wrapper. That's my personal view. So that's why I think you have to discount that. Again, 30% of the Bitcoin size, I think it's going to be less than that number. I just don't know how much less.
According to a social media post from Eric, a bipartisan group of House lawmakers wrote a letter to SEC Chair Gary Gensler, urging the Commission to approve spot Ethereum ETFs and other digital assets, because such products offer investors crypto access in a regulated, transparent, and safe format. The letter reads, "The approval of spot Bitcoin exchange-traded products, ETP, represents a pivotal moment for both digital assets and our financial markets. First, Bitcoin ETPs offer investors a regulated and transparent investment vehicle to gain exposure to Bitcoin. The Securities and Exchange Commission's recognition of Bitcoin ETPs is a positive step, and one in which we trust the Commission will continue for other digital asset ETPs. We urge the Commission to maintain a consistent and equitable approach when reviewing upcoming applications for other digital asset-backed ETPs. Specifically, the Commission should apply the same principles set forth in the approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs as it evaluates the pending Ether ETF applications, as the legal considerations pertinent to Bitcoin also apply to Ether." In his post, Eric points out that the letter states other digital assets, not just Ethereum, which means the ETF industry is probably trying to go all in on cryptocurrency ETFs. Do you think this means firms will soon start submitting applications to offer Solana and Dogecoin ETFs and others? How completely disruptive will this be for the digital assets industry? Please share your thoughts and observations in the comments section below. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.